Okay, so as you see down in the title, it actually says my trip with SVT. What that means is that, as I know of right now, I don't have SVT anymore, but I have a chance to. Like, it's 99.98 or something like that % chance that I don't have it anymore. So, or, I'm not that sure, I know it's in the 90s, but anyways, I'm going to be telling you about my experience with it, my actual whole story with it. I never told anyone this before because, I don't know, I'm not really a talkative person. So, let's get right into it. Like, I'll make another video to make it shorter about the surgery, so if somebody doesn't want to watch this whole thing, and whatever. So, my experience actually started with almost a year ago. I was still in college, and for one of the things that we had to do in college was do a 3-mile run in the morning. So around 8:30 that we went on the run and everything like that, and we came back to school and stuff. So I've been doing this for almost 3/4 of the year now, and all that's been happening was I had like this cramp on the side of my body, like on the side of my chest or whatever. Just like, I thought it was like, just like I said, a cramp. I didn't know anything about it. I was like, man, I have this sharp pain in my chest, whatever, and I got the done run every day. I was like, okay, there we go. But at one time, like I said, 3/4 of the way through of the year, I was doing my run, I was partially way through it, and I started to have this big pain in my chest. I didn't know what it was at first, and yeah, I just got this sharp pain, like it was burning. And I seen the group go by, everything like that, all the people go by, and maybe 15 minutes I was just laying there, sitting on the side of the road, I was hoping it would pass, like I could go do the run and everything like that, but it didn't. So when I seen the people come back, the group come back, most of them just ran past, probably thinking that it was okay, I was just sitting there or something like that. But one person came by, said, "Are you okay?" everything like that. I said, "I don't know. I never had this experience before." And he's like, "Okay, I'll just make sure that you're okay and we'll go back to school together." Then the teacher goes by, because the teacher always ran with us and everything like that. He's like, "What's going on?" I told him what was going on, the chest and everything like that. It started to hurt. He did the pulse through my arm here, and he says, "That doesn't seem right." And then he told the person that was staying with me, says, "Go back to the school, get your car, and come pick us up. Come pick me up." So we did that. We all went back to the school, and pretty much there was a school medic. He came in, said, "What's the problem?" I said, "My chest and everything like that." He brought out a heart meter to see how fast my heart was going, and it was funny because the heart meter, it didn't actually tell us how fast my heart was going at that point. It was going too fast for the computer or the heart meter to actually tell how fast my heart was going. So we're like, "Yeah, you gotta go to the hospital." So the teacher drove me to the hospital, and yeah, it was a funny thing because I knew I could walk and everything like that, but my heart was actually still racing. But the only thing was that I was really slow. Like, I was just crawling into the place. Not really crawling, but just walking really slow into the hospital. We actually rushed past everything pretty much in the emergency area, and they got me into a bed. They gave me a drug. Well, let's get to that in a bit here. They hooked up everything on my chest, or all over my body for the sensors. Once they did that, pretty much, it was okay by now. Well, it wasn't okay because the heart was still going. And I think it was almost about a half an hour at this point with this going on. They hooked up, the teacher came, was waiting in the outpatients or something like that, just waiting outside the door. They hooked up everything, and they gave me a drug. I have a little thing here. It's going to be on my computer, so it's going to sound weird. But this drug gave up.
Adenosine.
Adenosine. I'm really bad with names, just so you know, but they gave me adenosine. They told me right before it that it's going to kick you. It's pretty much going to give you this punch in the chest, and it's going to stop your heartbeat. Once they gave me that drug, it didn't start right away, and they were actually going to bring over defibrillators to stop the heart from beating, everything like that, and that would reset. When I seen the defibrillators coming over, I was like, oh god, what are they doing? What are they doing? And then I felt this big kick in my chest, like my eyes went wide open. And yeah, it's just like, oh my god, what just happened? And everybody looked up at the monitor and they're like, okay, you're back to normal. They did all these other things with me, just test, here. This was actually my heartbeat. I don't know how much that really makes sense to some of you, but it says here my heart rate was actually 238 at the time, and it was actually at, let's see here, 9:08 in the morning. So, yeah, it was just like that. They gave me the adenosine, and let's see here. I should have another one. After they gave me the adenosine, my heart rate actually went down to 77, and that was another few tests after that, just to do it. So, yeah, that's my first part of this, like, the trip. Like, the teacher came in and said, okay, I gotta go back to school, just make sure everybody's okay, because he's a teacher, he had to go back to the school and teach. So, that happened, and then I was sitting there for most of the day, actually. A doctor came up to me, said all these questions to me, like, has this ever happened to you before? I said, no, obviously not, because I don't know what's going on. And at that point, he's like, I don't know if you can finish your schooling if this is what happens, because for my schooling at that time, it's like, sporty, like, you had to be in fit shape to actually continue. So, he's like, I don't know if you can continue if we don't know what's going on. He gave me all these, all the notes, like, I have them all over the floor right now, and he gave me stuff like, you might have this, you might have that, and we have no clue right now, but we think you might have SVT. And I was like, what's that? He's like, you'll have these bursts of electrical shocks going over and over through your heart. So I was like, I don't know, can I just keep on going with the schooling? And he kept on saying, no, you gotta do the surgery and whatever. And pretty much one thing led to another, and yeah, we pretty much went from one doctor to another after that. And then I went back to my housing, or once the teacher picked me up, I went back home, called my mother at this point, because I never told her anything at this point, because I wanted to know the whole thing, just so she wouldn't freak out, so she wouldn't get off her work or whatever, and pretty much worry about me that whole day. So right after that, she was pretty much worried at that point, saying, what do you mean, what's going on, everything like that. I said it was okay, I'm fine right now, and everything like that, but she was freaking out because, of course, a mother, whatever, should. But, yeah, at that point, I didn't know what to do. They told me to contact these people, I did everything like that, and we did another meeting. Okay, after that point, we did tests and all that for almost a month, and we went to Halifax Hospital in Nova Scotia, because that's where I'm actually at. So, well, not at that point, I was in PEI, but then I went back to Nova Scotia for a bit of time to do more tests and all that. So, we did more tests, and we actually got to see a doctor into Nova Scotia in the Halifax Hospital. They told me at this point, which I felt really sad, and I still feel bad at this day, from this day. They told me that usually this surgery takes about 2 years to book and everything like that, and like I said, I felt really bad, and I still do today, because maybe somebody else who has been waiting 2 years, they couldn't get their surgery that day, and I'm just walking in maybe 2 months after I had my first SVT attack in my whole life, and they're like, yeah, because of your schooling, we want to get this done, we want your schooling done, everything like that, so we'll push you through. And I still feel bad about this day, about them telling me it's a 2-year wait. I'm just thinking right now. But anyways, they told me that, and we did a few more tests, like blood tests or everything like that. The funny thing was, though, the only thing, like, I couldn't sleep and everything at night, and I just kept on feeling down. The one thing that actually brought me back was that I'm going to finish my course. I kept on pushing myself that I am going to finish this. And the other thing was that I kept on listening to one song. It was Just Keep Breathing from We the Kings. I actually have it over here, just remind me what the name was. But yeah, I listened to that all the time because, and also I was CTFX here and everything like that. It's just that, yeah, he pretty much pushed me through because I seen him, how he went through brain surgery and all that, and this is what inspired me to do this little video. But anyways, from all that. So, after that, we went to the surgery. We started up getting ready for the surgery. Like I said, we did a bunch of blood tests and just running, doing the chest monitor again, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, we just did that for a little bit more time, just making sure that I was all ready to do the surgery. At this time, I was like, okay, I am ready. The night before, I was nervous. I never even slept that night usually. I really didn't sleep at all that night before the surgery. So now it's actually the surgery day. I ate, everything like that. Well, no, I didn't eat for the 8 hours, I'm pretty sure they told me not to eat. And yeah, I went up to Halifax. I did everything, like sign in and everything like that. They told me, they gave me a gown and everything like that. And they went over the procedure with me. They telling me that there's going to be 2 needles, or 2 needles or 2 lines going up my 2 thigh veins into my heart and give me what would you say, cauterization of the heart. And at that point I was like, okay, I don't really mind at this point. Come on, let's just do it. I'm ready for this. I just want to go back to school, finish off my schooling, and be done with it. So, once I did that, of course my family and everything like that was around me. Just my mom and my grandmother and one of my cousins. Not really anybody else after that point. I never told anyone. I never even told my friends that what was going on, because like I said at the very beginning, I'm not a very talkative person about my social life and everything like that. This is actually my first time. Probably my friends might see this or whatever, and they're going to be hearing the whole story. So, here we go. They went over the procedure one more time before everything happened. They rolled me into a pre-op room. Pretty much making sure everything's hooked up right and everything like that. And making sure the surgery room's done before I go in. So, we go into the surgery room, and at this point, I went over to a metal table and everything like that, and I found out how cold the surgery room was actually going on. It was pretty cold once you go in there, and pretty much the nurses talked to me and everything like that. They hooked up the IV in, I think it was this arm actually. They hooked up the IV, and they told me about this drug that they're going to give me. They said I was not going to be passed out. I was going to be fully awake, but I won't feel it. And once I was talking to the nurses, at that point, for me remembering what happened, I don't remember much after talking to the nurses. They must have injected it while we were talking. So, throughout the surgery, I don't remember much, but just waking up and looking over at maybe a nurse or at a doctor, and I was seeing the screens that they had up because of they had to have screens to look at the heart and everything, what they're doing. So, I looked over and everything like that, and I kept on blacking out. At one point, I remember hearing them saying, okay, get ready for the cauterization, and I felt this big burn from right in the center of my chest, almost pretty much where the heart is, and it spread, I can't really show you this, but it spread all over my chest, and pretty much a little bit down. It was actually just all over my chest, and I just remember how hot it was. It was the hottest thing that I actually experienced. And yeah, I just blacked out after that point. I went off the table, they rolled me out, and I woke up pretty much wide awake. They told me it was finished, everything was okay, we didn't have to cut a hole and go into the other ventricle, and they told me we'll just have to wait here for a second or two. After that time, they wheeled me back into my room, where my family was or anything like that, and they said, yeah, everything went well. We don't just make sure that you're not doing anything physical or anything like that, because the veins that they go through are your main arteries, and if you break, or maybe the patch or something that they put on, if that breaks and you start bleeding, you would bleed out within a few minutes. So they told me that I was not allowed to leave Halifax and not doing anything physical. They gave me a note saying that whatever happened, I would have the paper around here somewhere, but you know, they told me that. And yeah, it was pretty much at that point, I was done. That was my trip with SVT. At this point, I never had anything else happen to me, and I finished up my course. Yeah, that's my trip, really. I just wanted to share it with pretty much whoever wanted to listen to it, who was going through this situation. And I want to say this right now, that it's not a big deal for the surgery. You'll be worked up and everything like that, but just don't worry. The doctor that I had was very kind, and we went over the procedure like I said, and yeah, he's really really kind and nice, pretty much, I should say. So after that point, I should just say we went and ate. I got to dress in normal clothes, and yeah, we just went out and ate, and then went to sleep for maybe that night, and I got to go home. And that was it. That was my trip, I should say again. So, I don't know if this helped anyone. I don't know if I helped anyone or whatever this, I should say. But, like I said, I just wanted to put this out there, and if somebody's going through this situation right now, here we go. Here's my whole story. So, that's all. See you later.